Hi, I'm live. I'm alive. Hi, my name is Amber Dawnstar, Practical Mystic. Welcome to the bridge that I provide between the mundane and the magical. I am a conduit for the divine, and I can take the energetics, which is what I work with, and tell you what they are all about with what's going on in your life and the collectives. So I'm new at this, as most of you or any of you, and the 4 subscribers I have, no. um, and I found out I haven't done it for a little while because I found out that what I thought was just me and talking to God, and nobody was going to see this. I found out that yeah, people were seeing it, and I didn't know how that happened, but it did. So I'm still a little wobbly, as you can see, and I'm going to be talking today about the new in Gemini. And that's why it's twins time. And not only is the new moon there and the sun is there and Mercury is there, there's a couple more that are there. I mean, it's a stellium of Gemini. The north node of the moon is also in Gemini, and the south is in Sag. So, what that means on a practical level, taking the energetic of those two signs, is that we are moving. The North Node is moving into Gemini, so there's a lot of for the next 18 months, because that's the nodes of the moon. They last like 18 months. So we just came out of what did we come out of? We just came out of the 18-month cycle of Capricorn Cancer. Whoa! So that was water and earth and feminine, because all the water and earth signs are feminine, and the air and fire are masculine. So we have been in the feminine water earth signs for 18 months. And now we're moving into the fire air signs for the next 18 months. So we've moved from the masculine to the feminine. Sorry, I'm still working on that. I still haven't found a way to be able to not hold this up, like a table, because I'm in my window seat, and I want to be in my window seat. So I have to find. I tried, but I couldn't. So anyway, bear with me. So the energetics of this new moon is about communication, and the real communication, not the just blah, blah, blah communication. This is heartfelt communication. This is the energy that you speak to people from your heart, so that it's clear and concise and they can hear you. Uh, a lot of times people talk a lot of words, but really don't say very much. And this is about saying what you mean and meaning what you say, and being very aware of how you're utilizing your communication. Now, this is going to be going on for 18 months. So, Gemini is going to be predominant as far as how we speak to ourselves, how we speak to others, how we speak to God, which is ourselves and others, and how we can be more creative now in our expression and letting our voice be heard. This is about speaking your truth, without infringing on anybody else's truth, because we all have a piece of it, of the truth. And now, because Gemini rules the twins, it's a mirroring effect. Um, it's the yin yang, it's the masculine feminine, it's the dark and the light, it's up and down, it's over and around and through. Oh, that's three. Well, you get what I mean. So it's important now to really commit to expressing what it is that you need to. For me, doing this is a creative expression that spirit has been, pushing me to do for a while. And of course, I thought I was like sliding in under the radar with this and doing this and just like, having a video diary. But no, 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 no. I found out that there are actually people that are watching this. So that made me kind of like, oh, got triggered with my resistance about doing it. And then, I worked through that, obviously. And so here I am again. So just know that these next 18 months are going to be chock full of fast moving energy. Gemini rules communication, Mercury, but it also rules the mind. So you can utilize the mind for the highest good of yourself and all concerned, or you can use the mind to keep you in a prison. It goes both ways. It works both ways. It depends on your intention and where you want to put your energy. Do you want to be free and use the mind to travel in all the different ways that we can on the inner, because there's so many dimensions going on at the same time? And did you just hear that NASA discovered a parallel dimension next to ours? They did. You can Google that shite. It's there. And here we are, like science has finally caught up with metaphysics. So it's awesome that they have finally concrete proof that there is at least one, but we know there's more dimensions parallel to this one. So, and it's all happening at the same time, which I'm coming to understand that the parts of ourselves are here and then they're also there. So it's fascinating to think about that we can be in one point on and one spectrum, and then also, excuse me, also be in another place and another timeline. So this 18 months and this month, because Gemini sun this month is about really getting to the core of what it is that is your truth and expressing that, regardless of how other people receive it. Do it from your heart. And if you know that you are doing it from your heart, then you have to acknowledge that may not come, people may not receive it the way you're sending it, but that's really up to them. If you are in your alignment with your high self and source, then, and you need to say some things, regardless of if people hear you or not, then you need to say that. Interestingly enough, I found out last night that Gemini rules the lungs. So it's very interesting that, of course, this global test is in the lungs. That's where it officially lives, in the lungs, although they're finding out other things about it. But the lungs. So just be aware that, the breathing, of course, the deep breathing that I am honored to do for 33 years this month. So, practical mystic, master breath worker. That's a couple of my hats. This one is new. I'm not sure what to call this one. Weirdo. Ah. So it's important to keep those lungs clear, and the lungs hold the grief. So if you look at this energetically and take this from the practical to the mystic, this planet and the humans are grieving. Deep down, anger is sadness's bodyguard. So below the anger that everybody's feeling and the frustration that people are feeling and the fear that people are feeling, there is sadness. There is deep, deep grief. There is grief for ourselves, our family, our world, the animals, the children, the air, the water, the land, factory farming, burning down the rainforest. Pick one. It's all hitting the fan. And it's important now during this time that you cry, that you feel the grief, how it manifests in your own life, and how it's manifesting in our beautiful planet right now. And allowing yourself to feel it's all right. Believe me, I work with the energetic emotional body, which is tied specifically to the physical body. It's where the dis-ease comes from. My honor, the work that I do clears the energetic that is behind the dis-ease. So it clears the mystical, it clears the unseen, it clears the energy that is behind the physical manifestation of whatever the dis-ease is. So clearing the grief in yourselves and in the world, which of course, because we are all connected, the more that we can clear our own grief, the more that it will affect the collective, and the grief will be cleared from the collective. And there's a lot of grief. There's so much grief. And it's easier to get angry than it is to be sad. And right now, though, that's what we need to be. We need to be in our. Hey, girl. Hello. This is Goldie. That's Goldie. Go on. Go on. Go on out. Go on. Go. We need to be aware of our sadness, and please don't ever apologize for your tears. Go on. Go on. Don't ever apologize for your tears. I see people, when I tap in and watch the news, that are crying and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." No, 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 no. Don't be sorry that you're crying. Be relieved that you can cry and cry and cry and cry and cry. You'll get to the other side of it. I've been doing emotional body clearing with clients for 33 years. You will get to the other side of it. Might take a little while, but it won't take as long as it did to suppress it. That's the great thing about healing. It doesn't take as long to heal yourself as it did to keep the wound going. We all have wounds, and hopefully, those wounds have turned into scars, because if they haven't, then you're still running the programs of the conditioning that you got, shoved down your throat when you got here from everybody, family, friends, religion, schools. Uh, you know, I don't have to tell you. You've been experiencing it. So now, during this twins time, which is not only this month, but for the next 18, We have to be able to realize that the earth is only manifesting this uh, debacle because people have forgotten how to cry. Somehow we've been conditioned that crying is wrong, or crying is bad, or crying is weak. Oh my God, especially the masculine. Holy shit, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Um, I want to do a video called Are You Managed to Cry? Because that's the truth. Men are raised, the masculine is raised, and unfortunately, better. Unfortunately, mainly don't big boys don't cry and shove that shit down and don't be a wuss and faggot and you're gay if you cry or if you feel anything. Oh, look what that's got us. Look where we are now as a collective with that idea and that conditioning. The masculine can kill easier than it can cry. Think about that. Easier to kill than to cry. Because once you cry and you get into that heart space, which crying is about, feeling that and in your heart and letting that out and letting that go and giving it over and surrendering and releasing, you think you'd want to go out and hurt somebody once that's gone? Once that's not inside of you anymore? No. Take it from me, you wouldn't. So remember over this next month and 18 months that the lungs are being affected and the lungs need to be cleared from the grief. So anytime you can, anywhere you can, you do that. Because if you're doing it in public, people are seeing you and you're actually giving them unconsciously, you're giving them permission to feel their own feelings and get in touch with their own grief. So the twin aspect of all of this is the acting like there is no grief. Oh, what's there to be sad about? Oh, well, there's things to be angry about, right? I mean, that's easy. Easy. Anger is easy. Easier. Some people, yeah, have a hard time with expressing that too. But below that anger is sadness. So if you really want to help with this energetic that's going on the planet right now, and you want to help the healing process of that and stay in the alignment so that you are in your consciousness and in your heart, I've told people for years that the only safe place that from what was coming, which is this and more. Oh yeah, we're just starting this whole transformation. Um, that we need to stay in our consciousness and in our hearts, and that alignment between head and heart, between practical and mystical, between the mundane and the magical, that alignment will keep you safe. If you're not buying into this fear, if you're not allowing yourself to get swept up with what's happening right now, there's a lot of information out there right now that will help you get through this. Breathing, definitely top of my list. I mean, my breath has saved me uh, not only obviously practically, but mystically. The angels and the guides that I deal with are all about that. So use this time for the twins to look at inner and outer. What's happening on the outer is from the collective inner. Um, Most people don't have a clue about that, but it is changing now. It is. It has to. I mean, we are moving from an age of Pisces to an age of Aquarius. So we're actually moving from water to air. And that's like, I think, like 2,200 years. Yeah. Some drop in the bucket for eternity, but yeah, that's a while. So we're right in between those 2 points. We're not completely out of the Piscean era, but we're closer, and we're not completely into Aquarius either. So look at all the duality in your life. Look at where it's working and where it's not working. Look at what you can let go of that isn't working. Look what you can add to that what is working. Look at all the dualities that's going on, and keep choosing the ones that bring you joy, and the ones that lighten your heart, and the ones that keep you aligned with source, your highest self, your godlike qualities. Because that is the twins. The twins are, well, in mythology, the twins are about the the earth, the earthly egoic personality, and the celestial personality. I don't know if maybe that's a personality. I don't know. Angels have personalities. Of course they do. Of course they do. Yes. So just know that this month and this next 18 are going to be dealing with a lot of communication, some of it real truth, and some of it way not truth, some of it false, completely false. And so discernment is very important during this time. Discernment is being able to recognize when you're being fed a line of bullshit and when you're actually feeling and hearing the truth. And you have to let yourself feel what feels right for you, and where are you just shoving that aside, shoving it down, um, disconnecting, uh, running away, doing all the things that make us hide ourselves, hide our light. Um, Gemini is also, very playful, very curious, um, very quick, very quick. So find out what's going on with, your child, your inner child. Find out if that inner child is grieving, if there's something that still hasn't been healed in that inner child, and it's still running that loop in your life. And be gentle and be kind to that inner child. Talk to that child like it's a baby, and you want to just love it and accept it and let it know that it's wanted and it's safe. And don't forget that, this is duality time. So the dark and the light are really going at it right now. That's part of this twin energy. But in the yin yang, there is the black in the white and the white in the black. So it's all happening at the zoo for a reason, and a divine reason, and a divine purpose. And that's why you're here, to help bring that balance into the next level. So, fifth dimension and above, now that science has caught up and said, oh my gosh, yes, there are parallel, at least one dimension. So, there's more than one, right? There's so many. It just goes on, and you go on and on. That's, you're eternal. And realizing that, and knowing that, and being that. So I wanted to thank you for checking this out again, and anyone that you feel like letting know, if it feels like something somebody else might get some use out of, please share this. I am attempting to be of service in a different way. So this is what I'm doing. So, all blessings. Have a safe Memorial Day weekend. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in a couple of weeks with this energetic that's happening on the planet. Just know that if that grief isn't cleared in people's lives, that there will be a lot more people leaving the planet. It's our choice. It's always been our choice, but now more than ever, it's our choice to see that we are co-creating our reality, and we can choose something else other than fear and darkness. We can choose love and light and tears. God bless all of you that can be in touch with your tears. Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, yeah.